That wasn't meant to kill conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like that's always the sign, you know?
It's like, no more talking about babies.
We mean business now.
Yeah, okay.
It's recording.
I've been out of action for a little bit. I've just been on another call, but I am here and ready to work now. We did some test cases. I did some test cases for the TRO, and Michelle has made some improvements as always. And we're going to maybe get another few up, and then we can start people running through them.
We have written test cases.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you've been.
We will run the test cases.
Today, I think we can start.
Said.
Right?
What?
And the other thing I was thinking about is test case environments. Do we have to test them out in Chrome, Firefox, on mobile? What do we want in that regard?
I want to say browser support. I think there's at least on a computer and on a phone. But I think as far as browser compatibility goes, DocAssemble doesn't really.
Can't do much.
That's more about what DocAssemble does than about what we do.
Okay.
So we can test that, but it's probably not things that we can do much about.
So we do one on the phone, one on the browser. Sorry, Caroline.
But I think you want to focus on the phone because the percentage is just staggering. 65 to 71% of at least mass legal help users, I don't know if you want to check with court users, are on the phone. Oh,
could you give me that data sometime? That would be awesome to present.
Other than, what else do you, tell me what you want, I can give it to you, but that's it.
No. Like the study or series of studies or whatever that found that.
Well, that's our Google Analytics. And that's what I said. Okay. I don't know what the court does. I can ask Meg Hayden. She's, she could probably tell us that, but we are finding that. And then there's Pew does a lot of research on that as well, but.
Okay. So the primary one is to be on the phone. The first
and
test
it's something,
is to be on the phone.
Yeah.
Got it. So I think maybe we can get through 4 or 5 today. And then what happens with that?
The testing results?
Yeah.
So there is one thing that's going to change, which is the court selection for the TRO.
Joy of joys.
For now. Unfortunately, they don't want us
to. The district courts just figured out you're doing this, right?
They don't want us to recommend just one court yet. And since we don't have the court selection really tested for BMC yet or district court, we're going to just take off the court selection part. So, you choose a court. We're not going to recommend the housing court anymore.
How will people choose a court again? Sorry. Like what, how will they decide?
From all of the available courts. And we have a link that goes to the court website where they list.
Find your court.
They have something called a court locator, which is really just a directory.
Mm-hmm.
And so the person will have to look up the court in their directory and then come back and then choose the court from our webpage.
As opposed to recommending it automatically, because what would happen before is that you would put your address in and it would say, we recommend this court.
Here's your local housing court.
That being said, I have submitted the idea that we do this temporarily and that we develop a tool, this was Quentin's suggestion, that we develop a tool that instead of just showing one pin, would show all the pins for all of the courts that have jurisdiction. So you would see the housing court pin, you would see the BMC pin or the district court pin for if it had jurisdiction. So then we wouldn't be saying file in the housing court, we'd be saying file in one of these 3 courts which have jurisdiction, and then they could choose from those, as opposed to file in one of these 100 courts and find out.
Well, you have to drop down. It's a drop down, you can scroll through. So Quentin, when is that going to take place? I'm just wondering if we're going to start testing today or.
I think we should take out the code for the court selection pretty much right away, since that is something we need to do to get it approved by the court. And then it'll take, I'll have some draft code. I'll probably turn to that soon, today, at least get it started for the more advanced court selection. But I think we have to at least test that for a week or so before I'd feel comfortable putting that in production.
So we're just reverting back to how it was with the drop down, where you can just select the drop down. But so that's the second that you remove the code that has the court recommender.
Mm-hmm.
Would you just let me know when that's up and running so that when we're starting testing with people, they're not going to report that as an error, when it's not.
Yeah, right. I could probably do that even while we're on this call, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Ideally, we can have enough communication with our testers to say, don't report that as an error, you know?
Yeah, I just need to
Okay.
change the language and add the link to the court locator.
Yep. Got it.
Yeah, we
This
have
is
two versions of the question, so I'm just going to comment out the one that's specific to the housing court, the housing forms right now. So that's basically all I need to do.
Okay, so we've got testing with that, and then David, I saw that you said that we're almost ready to pull.
Yeah, well, this means we're almost ready for the TRO because we've gotten the last little bit of feedback. So I imagine what's going to happen is the court will say, yes, remove it, and we'll be ready to go. And then we'll have a longer conversation about how we're going to integrate back in this, three or four options. That being said, we'll be ready to go once the MOU is done, which we're still waiting on some of the court departments for.
Okay. Does anybody else have any blocks? Or I just launched into that testing because I'm really excited about getting that off the ground. But how else is everyone doing?
Has anyone ever read any Kafka?
I use the
I just
term
put that out there.
Kafkaesque.
Question.
Live it every day.
What'd you say? Every day, Matt? You read Kafka every day?
Lives it.
Oh,
Lives it.
Lives it.
I mean, and we are being recorded, but I will say, David, a little less so now. It's funny.
All right then.
And with that,
So,
I am turning into even more of a pumpkin than I thought because I have a surprise motion for summary judgment I have to write. Yay. And so I think effectively what that means for me is that I am, and I'm sorry in particular to Michelle because I said I would be able to do tasks, but I think I'm available for a knowledge share, but not for tasks. Like I'm not going to disappear off the face of the earth, but until further notice, like if you you can ask me questions, but not assign me tasks probably. And I'm sorry, this came out of,
well, we always knew that was a possibility. That's all right.
nope, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry on multiple levels, Matt.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. But this will not be the last you hear from me. But
Okay,
good.
I'll be back.
It's good to hear.
Back. Yeah.
Okay, so that's from Matt. Michelle, do you want to say? I feel like you just wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was just saying that I did some more fiddling with the escape button, and I've got it so that it doesn't push anything out of the navigation bar on mobile.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Without removing
great.
anything. So
without removing anything. Also without removing anything. Everything is still there. If we add another thing, we're going to have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we could change to an icon. There are things we could do, but I'm just saying.
So I'm curious, what does it look like now? Is it a bar?
It's a button in the nav bar.
Can you do a screen share, or is that we can't do that during this meeting?
Well, if she wants to share her screen.
If I want to share my screen, let me think how I want to do this. I can
without me blurring out everything.
You'll have to come
Michelle.
back to me at the very least.
Yeah.
Oh, the cats. Okay, so then that's perfect. We'll come back to you, Michelle. You'll just indicate when you're ready to share that. Okay, and then Quentin, how are we doing on the stitch up? I did all those pulls and the PR requests yesterday, and I don't know what I was doing, but then no one said anything that I broke it, so I just assumed it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I haven't integrated it yet, but
okay.
So
I'll wait.
A discrete thing we can do it at any time, I think, basically.
Okay. And I was wondering, I did run through the TRO once, and I saw that it might also benefit from having that process done with formatting on the PDF. Would that be something I could quickly do? I mean, it will take me really quickly, and then do the same process of doing a branch off of it and then uploading the PDF with the same name. Or is that? I mean, it's not a priority.
No, that's great. I think we caught a couple formatting things when we added. We had to take out the damages. So as long as we're not changing field names, that's like very low risk also.
Yeah, it'll take me 10 minutes. So I think that that'll be something I'll do later today. But the priority is testing. So we've got the testing channel. We've got some people who are ready to test. Priority is going to be mobile testing. And ideally we get another browser tester as well, computer tester. And that's kind of all from my.
sorry, real quick, for people who didn't know, the bug reporting form is hooked up to the GitHub account. So we're getting issues now. We're going to need some people to rename issues so they don't say row 36. But the integration is set up. Okay, sorry, Maeve, continue.
And it looks really
I
good.
do need some to give language people directions on where to go, because there's not like a team members, you know, just because this is the stuff is a bit more obscure, because this will be user facing. But it would be good to have, if you're a team member, it'd be good to have your name. We can't ask for users' names, but if you know that you're a team member, then you should put your name in.
I think that's a good idea, because otherwise we were trying to guess who the issues were coming from based on the way that they were written and the pictures that were included.
I can tell you which ones were me.
On GitHub, do you know, I'll take.
They were probably mostly me. I think Sarah O'Brien might have done one or two as well, because she was doing some language review and just did it that way.
And Kate, yeah, is the date in there on the GitHub issues? Because Kate did a lot of, I think everything on May 1st was Kate.
Yeah, I think it probably was all me, with the possible exception of Sarah said she was going to put one in. I don't know if she did, but I can go through and identify what was me. I would know.
Can any of us edit can any of us edit the issue without making it be another, rename the issue?
Yep.
Okay.
So
Caroline,
Michelle took me out how to do
repo yet, but we should add you anyway.
Okay.
So make it easier if you do the language changes too.
Okay.
So Michelle showed me how to do that, and I've got a clip of that, how to edit the issue, how to edit the title, and how to edit the body, and just clean that up a little bit if necessary. Because what happens at the moment is that there's 4 options when you log a bug report, or, you know, there's 4 options. And no matter if you log the first option, the remaining 3 spaces still come up. They just get pulled in. We haven't figured out, it's not a priority to try and figure out, because we can see that there's nothing in those remaining 3 things. So when you clean up, you can edit the text of the issue as well. So I was going to try and put Sam on that, Michelle. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that.
On cleaning up the
the issues.
I mean, I think that's more up to, if he can't do housing stuff, he wasn't interested in programming stuff. So if you can gauge his degree of interest in engaging in non-legal matters, I think that could be, putting him on anything would be great, as long as as long as that's what he wants to do, right? As long as he's willing to do whatever that is.
Let me see if there's not somebody who's familiar with GitHub who would be comfortable doing that. Caroline, did you want to say something? I just feel
I was thinking about the issues. I was thinking what would be good is if we do use GitHub, if they're already existing issues, instead of creating more issues, we can go back into, you know what I mean? Like it's a recurring issue. We continue to find it. We can go back into that, into the GitHub. You know what I mean? So that, and as we do that, that would help clean up the issues. And there was something else, but it doesn't matter.
I don't think I understand.
So
if you're saying that a number of people are logging the same issue.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, if people are using the form, but if people know how to use the GitHub issues, instead of having another issue coming in, if you can look for it. And we use issues for Mass Legal Help with our developer. And I think this is a GitHub thing. If you start to type in a new issue, it'll ask you, are you actually talking about one of these other issues, which I think is really helpful for, especially if we haven't been, if you're coming new to the list of issues, that could be really helpful.
How do we set that up?
Is it, Quentin's nodding his head. It sounds like it's already there.
It just searches the other issues and sees if the text looks similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be, I mean, if Sam is doing it, or, you know, as we're contributing issues, that might be a good way to help clean up. That's all.
And reduce the number of duplicate issues that are coming through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good idea. I think that that I've kind of covered everything that I wanted to cover. Is there anything else that anybody needs to talk about, Kate?
Sorry, I was just looking at GitHub and I was figuring out. I'll just add a comment to the ones that were me, saying this was me.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Can we, what are we gonna do about our, I know we're not gonna get the style guide done before 209A is ready, but how, are you and I just gonna try and meet with Emily again, or what are we gonna do about?
I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that.
Go ahead.
Strictly
Sorry.
speaking, we've just been using the Gov, that one that we agreed on, the Gov UK one. But I mean, the specific style guide, we need to
do our, I
do
think we
our
need
own.
to, right, like make some
for
decisions.
interview, like what do we say? Are we're gonna call it a guide, right?
Yeah, and there I came across. I mean, I came across some. I don't know where I put it. I made some other notes about, you do it while you're editing. You're thinking, oh God, this should be something that we do all the time, like use child instead of kids, or those kinds of things. So, and the other thing I wanted to ask about, and that this is kind of related to that, is there any way that we can make the main page in Basic Questions dynamic so that if people get to that first Basic Question screen, they're coming from somewhere. So can you pick up the parameter of the link that is sending you there, so you already know? So then this is me trying to figure out how not to pack way too much information in one screen. So if you hit the main screen and you're coming for 209A, you can say right away, call 911 and make sure you're in a safe place on the main screen. And you could actually you could pick up a variable from the sub umbrella, so that as soon as they're on that page, you're here to do a 209A restraining order. So you don't go on and on about restraining order, but you recognize where people are coming from and what they're coming to do on the main screen.
I think it wouldn't be in the Basic Questions. I think it would be in the 209A code. There would just be a question, a screen that came before the Basic Questions. That's all.
I don't think you're saying 3 screens, though, are you, Caroline? You're just saying customize the text on that one.
I was asking if it could be dynamic, so that whatever the first screen is that you hit, like here's the mass access project. This is who we are. This is what we're doing. That was the one I was thinking that by default that should always be the first screen, and whether that screen can include, so that can be dynamic, so it can recognize you're here because you want to do such and such, or you need to do such and such.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, having that first screen be dynamic.
Yeah, the way Michelle's saying it would definitely work too. We could add another one, but if we didn't want them to click through 3 intro screens, we could either make it dynamic, or we could make a copy of it that's just specific for the 209A. Would be another option.
All right. Yeah.
And then the downside for that, of course, is when we update the language in one place, we have to sync it up.
Yeah.
That'll be the faster thing to do, though. So if we just want that,
just to get it out the door. Okay.
I think that works for here.
Okay. All right. That's great. Also, I'm not really clear about whether the navigation is supposed to work on the phones or not. Because
it works on the navigation on the left. I don't think
no, the hamburger menu.
Oh, it does work on more modern phones. It just doesn't work on your and my old phone.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure about that. Yeah, so I was
what version phone is it? Because I wonder, that sounds like that to get fixed.
Yeah, mine's a SE.
Yeah, 5SE.
Old SE.
I mean, there are definitely things we want to have there that are really important, like being able to change language and being able to see the left navigation, which is where I was thinking I would put the review screens. I imagine there are going to be other people with iPhone 5s.
Well, we can look at our analytics and see what devices.
The hamburger at least doesn't work. I don't know about the
side nav.
There are 2 things called navigation. So the sections thing, I don't know. I haven't tried that one yet.
The only way to get to the sections, or at least the normal way, is by using the hamburger
menu.
That's what I thought.
That's not very clear, though. Nobody's going to find that.
Well, that maybe means that we just have to surface the review screens through the normal interview flow, especially if you're on mobile.
Yeah, also, I think that we definitely should do that.
Also, it could be something that I think I saw. I need to look at the screen again, but it might be a little tab we can have sticking out from the left that could, if DA has drawers and stuff, we could do a drawer that opens up and shows that as a menu. Oh, sorry.
I think we should submit a bug report on the hamburger.
The old phone
and
issue.
See if there's a
I thought it
workaround.
was just a matter of not supporting other systems, but yeah, sure.
If it's a Bootstrap 4 thing that just doesn't support it, then we're probably SOL. But if it's something that maybe there's a shim or something we can do, or other people have run into that problem and they've solved it, then we should figure that out.
Okay.
So another thing that's important that I've just realized is when people are doing the tests on their mobiles, they need to say what device and maybe what operating system, or
You had a row there for environment. We can switch
that what
that
that
into 2
means?
rows. Yeah, one for device with its version, and one for the browser with its version. So we can in the one that we did originally. I'll show you. I made 2 rows like that, but we don't have to.
Isn't
Anyway.
it possible to capture that without having people have to enter it? Or is that too much programming?
Well, I've never worked with Google Analytics before, and I don't know, like associating a particular interview with that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we would hook up there. If they linked the interview correctly, right? Then hooking up that specific interview with its Google Analytics data, I'm not sure if it's possible or not. I'm not sure if those 2 are linked in the database.
Oh, I wasn't
So
thinking.
I just want to flag that I am going to have to hop off at 1.
Okay.
It's gonna.
I think we're actually almost at the end. Maybe Michelle just wants to say.
I can do the demo.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
We will blur if you necessary.
What do we blur mean?
I think it will be okay.
Like
I'm just going to
censor.
share my one window.
Yeah, just do that.
So
That'll be safest.
this is on the desktop. It's up there on the left.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, Michelle, that's wonderful.
And when you
hang on.
Responsive, here we come.
This is on mobile.
Mobile first.
This is on mobile without any back button or help, and this is on mobile with the back button and help.
Still works.
That's
it needs to be scooted a little bit left. I need to do something about that, maybe. Yeah. But it
looks really good, Michelle.
That is wonderful, Michelle. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so great.
And where does it go to?
It goes to it goes to docassemble.org right now. I didn't know where to put it, so like I gave it that. There was a question I raised about possibly letting people choose the address they want to go to, because that would at least surface that it exists in a way that's less intrusive and actually requires user interaction, which gets people's attention more.
That's a really good point.
We don't have, I mean, I don't think everyone would be to that. I don't know, whatever you people think. But also, just so you know, like if my browser went to a picture of kittens, if I was trying to be
weird,
safe,
somebody would know it was not.
Yes,
normal.
They would know that it's weird.
Like Google or something like that. Yeah.
Okay,
Google.
From looking at, I looked at a bunch of them. They all seem to go to Google.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do Google.com.
Yeah. I do think.
Someone would also find it weird if I went to Google, because I use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, I was going to say DuckDuckGo, right. But yeah.
Well, you got to figure something. You got to come up with a solution.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you don't want to ask a person, then yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake to require somebody to answer one more question. Like, I mean, I get the reasoning behind
No.
The rationale,
That's exactly. There's rationales both ways.
I think anyone who's not using Google by choice
probably knows
about the escape button.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not everyone.
Michelle, this looks really good.
Yes, unless they're being users, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it became more complicated when it could no longer cover anything in the nav bar. So that was fun.
I still can't unsee the fact that it's like a hand. That Massachusetts looks like a hand.
I saw that the other day. I was thinking, oh, that looks more like a hand than anything. I totally get it.
I always think of it like an arm.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't unsee that.
Yeah.
I've never anthropomorphized the state. This is interesting.
We've got 4 minutes left. Does anybody have anything they want to raise? So we can
when Quentin and I worked on Stitch Up on the weekend, we missed a branch of logic. So I've been banging my head against a wall for 2 days. I figured it out. I broke it again. I figured it out. So I'm now past the 18-year-olds, and I'm moving on to the relationship with the defendant.
Okay.
You need help with logic, or is the flow the problem?
It was the order of the questions.
Okay.
And
so it's not the code. It's not the code.
Well, it is the code. It is the code, because the code is what orders the questions. But I've got that. I've got it. I finally got that figured out. So so now I think the next one's going to be easier. This one should have been easier. I still don't know why it didn't work, but
just make the commits on a different branch and make the PR so we can do a review.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk to you, Michelle, about how I'm going to do that. Okay. Because I'm a little, Yeah.
No worries. It's a pain.
Okay.
I might want some help with doing review screens in a little bit.
Sure.
I'll do at least one. So it's the way where you can change your answers. This one's so long, we really, really need that. We can't
I think that's
use
right.
the back button and erase their answers.
Yeah.
So that would probably need like 10. So maybe if I do one, if there are people who have time to.
So maybe when people press back, there should be a pop-up that says you'll have a chance to review your answers and change your answers at the end. Going back will erase them.
I'm putting that aside for now. I just want to make sure that we know
the
that
review
have
screens
a way to edit their answers, because they will need that. They might catch some things.
Are you going to do the review? How are you going to organize what
Bye, David.
Review
Yeah, the problem is when I go, everyone goes.
We're all going to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so maybe we can just talk about the review button. The review in Slack.
I put it on Slack. So yeah, feel free to chime in. I think that the answer is I will just come up with categories and we can refine them. It doesn't need to be perfect, but we need something because you can't just release it without people being able to change it at all. And we can just know that that's something that will be improved post-release. Hopefully.
Maybe we could think about clustering the order that you ask the questions. That could be the organization.
It'll be based on the sections. So they should connect to each other.
Okay.
The section link will take you to a review screen, and I think we should also surface it during the interview flow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, cool.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.